So it's really important to note that whilst, you're going to go through setbacks and failures and all sorts of, quote unquote nonsense, aka bad stuff, you should still never accept defeat. And the reason is because you can't give up. You can't give up because why not carry on? Why not see what happens if you give it another go? Or at least, pivot towards something that might work out better. And when I say pivot, that basically means improving, or at least switching up slightly. And it's very humbling to accept defeat, and I understand its importance. However, it's really easy to kind of get into a mindset where you're going to start thinking that you're not good enough and that defeat has kind of overcome you and you should just give up. And the thing is, a lot of people, when they say they never accept defeat, typically it's the ego tripping them out because they don't want to, be humble with all the failures and losses that they've experienced. But you have to accept it. But you should never accept that it's going to last forever, because there's always going to be room for improvement, or there's always going to be something similar, or even something completely different. Now, if you look at any athlete in any kind of sport, right, they're not going to have 100% win rate. And in most industries, it's never the same, regardless of if you look into it. You can look into business, most businesses fail. You can look at financial decisions, no one has 100% win rate. You can look at YouTube, content creation, not a lot of people really make it through. Or at least any kind of venture that you decide to step on. You're not going to have times where it's going to be all sweet and dandy and you're going to kind of go through it happily and this and that. You have to kind of go through the struggle, you have to go through that defeat. But again, you can't let it overcome you, because once you let it overcome you, then that's the point where you're finished. So you have to learn from your mistakes, you have to carry on improving, take notes, whether that's mental notes or physical notes or whatever the note may be, but never stay in the same spot, always thinking about that defeat or that failure that might be holding you back. Because it's really easy, again, to kind of hold on to memories. Again, if all we understand is the past and past experiences, like if you look at trauma, for example, trauma exists in the past, yet it still affects a lot of people today. And it's the same thing with defeat. A lot of times when you go through them setbacks or failures, you give up and you think, you know what, it's because it never worked out in the first place. But why bother trying only once if it's the first place? Why not try at least 5 times, 10 times? I mean, if you look at a lot of these inspirational stories, you might see that there's typically a lot of common things that they have, and that's just not giving up, not accepting defeat. Some may have it more blessed than you, some may have more talent than you, but those are not big enough circumstances to stop you from getting you to where you want to go to. Whether it's that job rejection, maybe you've had a career setback, maybe the whole, jobs in demand, or maybe even if you're aspiring to be an athlete, a chef, or someone creative, or someone in business, or whatever the industry may be, right? Are you really going to let defeat take over? Are you really going to let the setbacks take over? And since we're playing Stardew Valley, you think your main character ever gives up? Well, that's not the best example because you control it, but he still wakes up every day, or she, still got to water the plants, still got to save the city, still got to make the best farm ever. Life moves on and time moves on. And if you can kind of like program your mind in the sense of not accepting defeat but understanding it, you can make a lot of progress in your life, man. Because when you start to see it as a teaching experience rather than a setback, you're going to move way faster forward and way better. Because now you built resilience in your mind to actually get through the darker days, to get through the days of struggle and hardship, and when no one's looking at you, when you're on your own by yourself. Because as long as you've got your mind and your body and your soul, if you will, you're never truly defeated. You've got everything you need to survive the next day and the next day and the next, and not only survive but thrive. Build that life you want to build, man. You can do it. What's stopping you? And if something is stopping you, how can we get past it? What are some creative solutions to these existing problems that you may have? And some might be completely internal. Maybe you just have a negative thought process. That's okay. You're not alone. A lot of people have that. But how can we really find a way to make improving fun? And if we use the example I've just given of, say, for example, negative mindset, maybe we can make it fun by watching stuff that has a positive message within its content. Maybe we can listen to music that's more uplifting. Maybe we can play games that are uplifting, stuff that can really sort of, over time, consistently compound. And then now you've got self-improvement that you're doing for fun. You're not even doing it by having to work hard and doing this journaling and all this other stuff where you have to become self-aware, which you can do, and I definitely recommend doing it, but on a consistency level, start off by just changing the stuff that you watch. Just a little bit, just 1 or 2 pieces of stuff that can uplift you. The times where you felt your happiest, or at least the movies that make you the happiest, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And you watch how your sort of internal chatter in your mind changes, especially when you're going to be in situations where you might lose. Anyway, I hope this helped, whoever it helped, and peace and blessings to you all, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, you are a winner.